Okay, this is the Hakdama. We're switching gears now in the Masechta. We really are switching gears, and this is from the Hakdama of the Mishnayos Mevueres from the Kahaki. The Hakdama of this Mishnah. It says until now we've been busy with Nedarim regarding the language of and the surah of the Neder. For example, what an Ikan Neder is, the Yodois, a Yad, Kinuyim, Hatfasa, B'davar Noida, that in order it has to manifest in something itself that is a Davar Noder, or B'davar Rasa. And then we had the question of Stam Nedarim Lahachmir, Pirish Lahakol. We had Abar Nedarim, the four Nedarim we had of Zeruzim and Havoy and Shoigi and Anusim, which do not require any Hatorah whatsoever. Now, from now on, basically very much the end of the Masechta, we're going to focus on the concept of what? Of by Nedarim we go after Lashon B'nei Adam. If you just turn the page for 1 second, turn to page Lamed Amid Beis. Okay, but Lamed Amid Beis, 3 lines from the bottom. Nedarim holachach Lashon B'nei Adam. Nedarim you go after the Lashon of B'nei Adam, which really makes a tremendous amount of sense. In other words, the Neder is what you create, and we want your piv, the liboy, to be equal. So what you say, in other words, how you present it or think about it, that's going to go ahead and interpret the Neder for us. That's going to interpret the Neder for us. That's the way it is. So if the Torah calls it one thing, but people don't really view it that way, then so they're basically very much they're very it's like a little kapara for the last few dafim, that this is a very easy daf, basically, and just basically saying what a person says something, what does he mean? And therefore, what is the neder chal on? That's basically what it is. So
is this like at any given time in the world?
It would change, and it would change.
Right.
It would definitely
Like
change. It would definitely change. It would definitely change. Because again, it depends what a person, what it means. What does a person mean? Like another, you say a person, let's say in growing up, guys, we'd say someone is sick. The person was sick. Now we say, oh, he's sick. That means he's great. Right. Things change, right? Or the person is hot or cool. Again, my parents' generation, the person's hot, right? So they're hot. This man is that's
gay day.
we don't say that, Kaya. We don't say the word that the G word in the share. So, like what the word gay, right? It used to mean something totally different. Oh. So again, it would change. So it's very interesting. We're going to go through easy Mishnayos, but it's just interesting that the whole thing depends on what a person says. So let's begin on Daf Lamed Amid Aleph. Hanoida, we're up to the Mishnah. Hanoida miyardei hayom. If a person makes a neder not to have anah from those people who are yorid layom. So yorid layom, you'd say people who go use the sea. So mutta b'yashvei hayabasha. Then he'd be permitted to people who live on dry land. However, if a person makes a neder not to have enough from yashvei hayabasha, those who live on dry land, then asam yardei hayam, because the yardei hayam eventually are going to have to come onto dry land. Now, sheyardei hayam bechlal yashvei hayabasha, right? And now that's the reason. However, now there's a cryptic statement at the end of the Mishnah, and we'll have a machloikis in that cryptic statement, whether it's going on the first din of the Mishnah or the latter din of the Mishnah. So now, and lo ke'elu shaholchem me'ako liyafo, not like the Yardei Hayom who go from the port of Akko to Yafo, which are very close by, ela b'misha darka lefarish, those who go really spend their time at sea. So the question is that last statement, right? What is it going on? Is it going on the Reisha and it'll be a Kula? Or is it going on the Seifa and it'll be a Chumrah? So, for example, says the Gemara, Rav Papa Rav Acha B'rei de Rav Ika, Chad Masni Areisha, Chad Masni Seifa. That last clause, does it go back on the Reisha or goes on the Seifa of the Mishnah? Mandatani Areisha, Masni Hachi. The one who learned it on the Reisha, this is the way we learned that last clause. Hanoidim Yordei Hayom, someone who goes ahead and makes a neder, not to have enough from those who are Yordei Bayom, Mutta B'yoshvei Hayabasha. Now, Ha b'yardei hayom asar, right? However, which yardei hayom would you be asar on? The ones that really go layam, despite the fact they're in the sea, but that's not what he means. That's a very short excursion. In other words, it's like you take the ferry. You go from the ferry, you'd say, oh, you know what? You take the Staten Island ferry, you're not a Yordei Hayam. So that's what he means. So it's the kula. The last statement. Those people who make a neder, not the Yordei Hayam, right? Are also Yordei Hayam. But however, if doesn't mean all people are in the sea. People who are Irish, they really go out to the sea. But the short excursion from Akko to Yafo, they would not be included. So it's a kula. It comes out of kula. Now, conversely, there are those who say that clause goes on the seifa, right? I don't think I finished it. The halal yeshim Russian ninu mimi shedark lefarsh. Uman de masni aseifa masni hachi. Handoy de miyashri yabasha. Also be Yardei Hayam. Why? Because they're going to be what? They're going to come out on this. In other words, those people taking the long excursion, the short excursion, so clearly they'd be also. Why? Because they're immediately coming onto dry land. But what about the people? Those are people who go what? Who go to the sea for a long period of time, you might think that what? They're not considered Yeshri Hayom. So when Machmin say no, since eventually they're going to come to dry land, they're Bechlal Neder. So again, if you learn it goes under Reisha, it's a Kula, meaning the people who go from Yafo are not part of the Neder. If you learn it's going under Seif, it's a Chumrah. Even the ones who spend more time at sea than ever on dry land, since eventually they come to dry land, they're considered Yeshri Hayom. Says the Mishnah. Someone makes a neder, he won't have enough from those who see the sun. Those who see the sun. So asar, af besumin. Now a blind person can't see the sun. However, we're going to see when a person, but he means the roye chama, it means the ones that the sun sees him. I mean, that's everybody, right? It means the sun sees him. It doesn't mean the one who can see the sun, it means the one who's seen by the sun. The one who's seen by the sun. Because his kavana is to the one that the chama sees them. My timer, what's the reason? Right? And it doesn't say royan, at least that the word why did he put the word sun in there? If he would just say it's mina royan, those that can see, right? Anyway, it doesn't say that those that can see. He throws in the word sun. So why do you throw in the word sun? Because it doesn't mean the one that can see, it means the one that the sun can see. And since the sun can see a blind person, the blind person is b'chal v'neder. Lafuke dogim v'ubarim, what would he be mutter in? Dogim, that the sun doesn't see because they're covered up by the water. V'ubarim, and babies that are covered up by the mother's womb. So in other words, what would this person eat? He can't have enough of these people, what would he do? So look at Taisus, interesting Taisus. Right. Lafuke dogim ubarim. The ain't chamaroyin I saw because the sun doesn't see fish and ubarim. Dogim the precious I said above. Ubarim bechusim b'meiman they covered up in their mother's womb. Avol shar balichayim asurim. All balichayim the asar. Umiu bitfu peiris v'chol davar shein beruach chayim shari. Crops and fruit, even though the sun sees them, nonetheless he be permitted. Why? Af agav the chamaroyin I son. The kimen shehiske roye hachama mashma dafka bali chayim shasuyim lireis hachama. In other words, if you would say anything that the sun sees, it should include everything in this world because the sun sees everything, with the exception of the things that are covered up. But he's saying royin does help to the extent seen by the sun, people that can see that are alive. So basically, this guy's a vegetarian. This guy's a vegetarian. All he'd be able to eat would be what? Fruits and veggies. What? Let's stay away from fish, right? Right. Anyway, that's the last one. So going on with this opinion of Holchet Drachim of Holchem Achim Lashem Liyadam, Hanoidim Mishachari Aroish. Someone makes a neder that not to have enough from those who have black hair, dark hair. Asa Bikrachim, they'd be also with people who don't have any hair, who Bali Sevais, and people who are old who have white hair. Again, meaning what we would think is not true. Because you think black hair means black hair, and then you could have enough from people who don't have any hair or people who are white. Umuta b'noshim u'ketanim, it'd be permitted with what? For women and kids. She'ein nikroyin shechari haroish ela anoshim. Who is called shechari haroish? Only what? Only men. But kids and women would be permitted. So now the question is, why when he says black hair, why in that is what? It comes to include what? Bald and white hair. My timer, midaloi ka'amar mi bale seir. When he doesn't mention those who bale seir, people who have hair, but it mentions black hair. So it's mashma that what? This would include people who don't have any hair. Let's see the Ran over here. 4 lines down. Midaloi ka'amar mi bale seir, alma afilu krachim bechlal. You see that even what bald people are bechlal. The key in the shchayre haroish legabe krachim lav dafka, since when you say black hair is lav dafka, because it would include even what people who would have no hair. So therefore, memela lebalish seva nami lav dafka legabe white hair. It's like it seems to be more of a chiddush, guys, of white hair than a bald hair. In other words, he said those of dark hair, meaning it seems to say that since he didn't say bali seir without any hair, bali seir. So it's included, and Mela, since that's included, lav dafka white. He's miskaven for those people that people call shchari roish. Tahainu anoshim. When you say dark hair, you're referring to anoshim. You're referring to what? To men. The mishum de zimnin. We're going to say, okay. Now let's go back to the Gemara. Okay, so in the Gemara, Lamed Amid Beis, the second Mishnah down. And we're saying if a person makes a neder not to have enough from shchari roish, included in that neder would be people who have no hair and people who have white hair. My time up. The only people who are called shchari roish are that we call shchari roish are men. My timer. Anoshim zimnin machzir rishayu. Men sometimes cover the hair. The zimnin megali rishayu, and sometimes they reveal the hair. Aval noshim loilam mechsei. Nashim la'olam they cover the hair, uketanim la'olam miglei, and ketanim always have the hair uncovered. So in other words, it appears that shchari roish, the lashon of Adam is someone whose hair is sometimes yes, sometimes not. Woman is always yes, kiddies are always not. So there's interesting rate over here. I looked in the Marischias. Marischias brings the shaila, so we cover our hair all the time. We cover our head all the time, right? Mash from here that you didn't. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. So he seems to say that it's in the Arachayim Simin Ches, in the sugya of tzitzis being misatif for your tzitzis when you cover your head. They want to bring a raya since atifa is b'shas tzitzis. It must be the other times it's not, meaning you wouldn't have anything on your head. So the Taz brings down a very interesting. He says there's 2 things over here. One, he says bisman hazeh to cover your hair is an Indian of what of Yerushalayim, and secondly is lechu. So since the goyim do not cover the hair, we Jews do the opposite and cover our heads. That's the source of it. So obviously, in this day at the time, it was not unheard of to have your hair covered sometimes and sometimes not. And they're haterim. This man is sunni haterim for people who go to work not to have The Syrians, very often the Syrians don't cover. The Syrians do not. What? They never do?
Not never, but I bought my house from a person who apologized when he met me because he didn't have the armor on. He said, "This is the."
Yeah. Anyway, so we have very interesting. So again, people who keep their hair covered are sometimes not. That's what men mean when they say shchari roish. Again, fascinating. In other words, it's so it's fascinating the lashon. I'll tell you why. Because we're interpreting when we translate, we're interpreting right as we translate it. What are you talking about? Black hair means black hair. It doesn't mean bald, and it doesn't mean white hair. But in that time, that's what they meant. And then, in other words, if that's what they meant, that's what they meant. And it's subject to what Benji said. It's subject to time. Bisman hazeh, I wonder if a person would say this, would it include a person that's bald? I would think not. I would think not, again, because it's limited to the time. Again, I'm telling you what I think, not what I know. But again, if you go after Lashon B'nai Adam, this is what people say. And again, that's what at that time they held only men are b'schal shchari roish, but not women and not kids. Next, hanoida min hayiludim Someone makes a neder not to have enough from those that were already born. Those that are already born. Mutter bin eladim, you'll be permitted for those that will be born in the future. So yiludim, guys, means of past, and noladim means future. Min halayladim. However, if you make a neder not to have enough from those that will be born, asa min hayiludim, included in that would be those that are already born. That would include those that are already born. Now, Rabbi says something cryptic. Rabbi mater after yiludim. So it's mashma, guys. If you make a neder be yiludim, so you're mutter in both. So then what you accomplish with your neder, right? What you accomplish with neder? You mutter both. What you accomplish with neder? The chachamim maimim loy niskaven zeh el demisha dark livale. The kavanah was someone whose derech is to give birth, as we're going to see, as opposed to those that lay eggs. We're speaking about what those that give birth, as opposed to what? As opposed to those that lay eggs. Now, what did Rabbi say, guys? Rabbi said, even be yiludim. So the havamin of the Gemara is, no matter what you say, yiludim and noldim yimuta. Spreading word kasha. Meaning, those that you said yiludim, those that were born already, your mutta, certainly what? The ones that will be born, your mutta, el miman asa. So who, according to Rabbi, who is asa, in fact? So the Gemara answers, it's missing words, missing words, and here's what we have to learn. Hanoidim and hayiludim, someone goes ahead and makes a neder, not to have enough from those that were already born. Mutta bin eladim is permitted to those that what will be born. Now, what did the Tanakhama say? But if you make a neder min haneladim from those that will be born, then also be eladim. You also in what those that were born. On that statement that you said, if you make a neder for the future, even if you can make a neder, it's not going back on the resha of those that were born, it's going on the seifa, those that will be born. He disagrees with the chachamim. The chachamim say, if you make a neder, those that will be born, you're also the ones that are born already. On that he disagrees. And that, in other words, he makes it tit for tat. If you go ahead and make those that were born, only those that were born. If you make a neder, those that will be born, only those that will be born. And he argues on the one that was born already. He argues on that kind. Just like you make a neder for those that were born already, it's mutter, and those that will be born. So too, if you make a neder, those that will be born, you mutter, and those that are born already. Only a papa labaya. The memra, you mean to say the noiladim in the sialdin mashma? It's mashma that the word noiladim means those that were already what? That will be born. That's what guys. That's what we're touching up, right? We're touching up noiladim, those that will be born. So therefore, if you make a neder if you make a neder on yiludim, it doesn't include noiladim. Mashma elamayata shnei b'necha another mechaber etzrayim, right? Ephraim Menashe, Kruim Shimon Yuli. They were born already, and what does it say? Noiladim. So you tell me there's not future. Hachanami desiyaldim, who we say over there that's speaking about the future. Ephraim Menashe in the world already, and you use the word noiladim. The Torah tells you noiladim means born, not will be born. Ve'lamai, what are you going to say? The Yeludim Mashma, that they were born already. Elamiyata the Chsiva says, Hine ben noilad lebeis David. They will be born a child lebeis David, and Yoshiyahu Shmo, his name will be Yoshiyahu. Hachanami the Have, you can tell me that Yoshiyahu is born already? V'adayim Menashe loiba. Menashe his Zayda wasn't born yet. Menashe was his Zayda wasn't even born yet, right? So l'chayra, so you see that one place noiladim means what? Future, past. Like Ephraim and Menashe, and one time Noladim means past, like a future, like by Yoshiyahu. What do you have to say? Mashmahachi. It has both mashmais. It can mean future and it can mean past. However, when it comes to Nedarim, we're going to go after what people say. That again, that's the crucial thing. Okay, let's see the Ramban here. Let's see the Ram here. So we have machloikus between Reb Meir and the Chachamim. So let's guys, 1 second. If you call Noiladim, what's the svara of Reb Meir? What's the svara of Reb Meir that if you say Noiladim, it doesn't include Yeludim, right? And vice versa. So Ran comes to explain. Uba hachi pligi Reb Meir v'Rabbana. The Rabbana, again, what's the machloikus, guys? If you use future, doesn't include past. According to the Chachamim, future includes past. According to Reb Meir, it does not. Says the Uba hachi polig Reb Meir v'Rabbana. The Rabbanan Savri, Dichi Heichesh Noiladim B'Lashon Torah, Koilol Noiladim, Kvar, Just like the Torah can mean Ephraim and Asher that were already born. The Asidim Livoled, like Yoshiahu that will be born. Hachanami B'Lashim Ne'Adam. So, right? The Hainu the Haji Rabbanon L'Neimar B'Sefer the Maslisa. And that Rabbanon is going to say, Lo Niskaven Zeh Elamisha Darki Livoled. In other words, we're going to see another opinion in a second. That's not a third. Das is coming to explain the words of the Chacham. Ela de Prushe come a farish tamayo. The Amar da Noidim and Lodim asa b'chol. Ukiyav time with the Mosiah. Shaloi niskav and Elam Misha Darku. Okay, so now. So I jumped the gun because you didn't bring in this last case. But what we got? Like the Chachamim, we see the word Neiladim can mean both, right? So if you use the word Neiladim, included in that is both. Where Rameya says no. Rameya says no. We go after Lashon only Ladim B'Ashmani Adam, and this is what it means. Now, the Chachamim said the last din in the Mishnah, guys. What was the Chachamim's last din in the Mishnah? It's mashma. They said that loy niskavin elo b'misha darka livoled, the darka one that want livoled, and we'll go back to the Ran in a second. What does that mean? The Chachamim loy niskavin ze elo misha darka livoled lafuke mai lafuke dogin v'oifos. Look at the last round of the page, last line. Lafuke dogin v'oifos shehem matilim beitzim. They hatch eggs. They don't get born, created in their mother's womb. They don't give birth to live young, right? So that's what it includes. In other words, that's what it's coming to say. So now, going back to the Ran, behind the Hadi Rabbanan l'neimar b'seifad maslisan le'niskavin zeh el misha darka livoled. It's only speaking about someone who's childbearing. Bearing. But loy dash shlishihu. It's not a third opinion. The Perushe Kamafarish Tamayu, they're coming to explain the Amri, they're coming to explain the Lashon, guys. What's the Lashon? The Lashon is if you go past, it doesn't include future. If you go future, it includes past, right? The Hanoidim and Aloiladim Asar B'chol. That why is Nalodim Asar and everything? Ukiyav time Elam Messiah. Shalin Eskavin Elamisha Darkali Voled, Bein Lahaba, Bein Lashavar. It's only, in other words, he doesn't care about the tense, whether it's past or future. Right? If you use the future tense, all he cares about is saying that it has to be something that rears a live young rather than an egg bearing, right? Egg hatching, laying. It doesn't mean dafka pias, oy lahaba dafka or labo dafka. So that's the Chachamim. In other words, read the Mishnah, you can learn there's three opinions. There's 1, 2, and 3. 3 is 1. 3 is 1. He's coming to explain, you know why I can say it means past means both, future means both, because I'm not stelzing on that. Because what it's coming, the Mishnah is coming to tell you when a person makes such a neder, it's as opposed to egg laying. Good. So once it's excluding egg laying, we go after the lashon of what it means, and the Torah says it can mean both. Therefore, since it means both, it includes both. What about Rabbi, who says future only includes future? When you go after a person, you know what? Good, the Torah says it means what? Past and present, past and future. But people mean future. People mean future. And why be future? Why they moida? Because they both agree. Right? The ilu b'lashon Torah ki hechi demashim le'adam kvar ki dechsiv. Kol ha'am hayoludim b'midbar hachanami mashma asidim livali k'dechsiv kol haben hayilud. So therefore, what? And therefore, they say only what by if you use past, it only means past. It doesn't mean future because future means future. Okay, that's basically it. Wish everyone a good day. Enjoy the day. Good Chodesh. Yeah, I think this is the first Thanksgiving in a long time where we said Hallel with a bracha, right?